Leadership is very, very critical in everything we do. Leadership, leadership. We can sing leadership like a song, but the thing is, a lot of people use the word leadership. And no matter how many times they talk about leadership, we still find problems lingering, and we just wonder if the leaders know their roles. I'm going to give you just one example because so many things happening. We cannot talk about them all, in one swoop. But let's just talk about one thing: developmental paradigm. As a leader, what is your developmental paradigm? Sometimes I do get tempted to talk about countries, but I choose to talk about a continent because we found out that what's happening in country A is happening in country Z. So why should we pick out one country? The same things are happening all over the continent. There might be a few countries that are doing things a little differently, but on a general note, the same things are happening across the continents. So that's why it's important to think about developmental paradigm, because the development taking place in a country helps to chart a course for the future of that country. You see, for several years now, the African countries have been talking about future, future, future. Now go and look at your history books. In fact, go and search everywhere right now. Find out the year a country in Africa had what they call independence. What year? Just mention a country and look it up. What year did that country you're thinking about right now gain her independence? Now, between that year and now, from your own observation, do you really think that the country you are having in mind right now is independent? And what is the meaning of independence? Because when there is independence, there should be growth, there should be development. See those two things? Growth and development. If you cannot see them, there's no independence. What you see will be dependence every step of the way. And so if we just do not know the meaning of independence, let us consider the word dependence. And what does that tell you? Dependence. So that's how you know something about independence. So when a country is independent, what do you expect of that country in terms of development and growth? So we therefore talk about the paradigm. Sometimes you even hear some of the leaders talk about paradigm shift. And when you hear them say paradigm shift, you'll be wondering which shift they're talking about. Is it a shift from what has been going on from independence? And when a leader of an African country tells you paradigm shift, watch that leader. Give that leader time. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4. And see if that leader has done anything to shift that paradigm, or to shift from one paradigm to another paradigm. Think about it. What are they doing? What have they done to show that they want development and growth in their countries? So in considering paradigms in development, let's just say developmental paradigms, in considering them, we can say that a leader would want his country to manufacture. You see, manufacturing is at the heart of development. Any country that does not manufacture will import even the air they breathe. You gotta manufacture. So now in the African countries, I'm asking the leaders now, what are you doing about growth and development? What are you doing? let us think about some young people who have not received formal education. There are many of them out there across the African continent who have not received formal education, but they're using their bare hands and their residual knowledge, intuition, dreams and visions and thoughts and imaginations and passion. They're using all those things to create stuff that sometimes those who go to the universities and come back are not even thinking about. We go to the universities, we receive our degrees in engineering and everything. We come back, we pick up our CV, dust it, and add a few things on the CV, make it more beautiful, and then take it to a business center, and somebody there will just help us and dust it up and tell us that it is good to go. We pick it up. We begin to submit the CV from company to company, looking for employment. Meanwhile, the primary school boy has gone to the school field, school playground, with cardboard paper, cotton, cardboard, that he used to create a flying object. Take it to the field, place it there on the ground, and push the remote control buttons, and that little thing will run. Now that becomes a runway. And as you're watching, that thing gets in the air, gets in the skies, and begin to maneuver out there. Just call it a drone. All right, remote controlled aircraft. It might be the size of a regular box or carton, just that. But it gets in the skies and begins to fly around and maneuver. And after all that maneuvering, the boy will push the remote control and turn it back, and it begins to land. And you see them make safe landings. If an elementary school boy will create a toy that will get in the skies and maneuver and land perfectly, what do you think about the future of such a country? But do you know what you do? African leaders, what you do is, we've seen it, we see in the news, we see everything. What you do is you begin to look for a university overseas where they will go to train. God. The little boy had a dream. At night, he woke up and began to put together those things. It flew. Now, what about attaching him to individuals who have already studied engineering and whatever field it is that their toy, fits in? Let them begin to sharpen it. And within 3 or 4 years, they will have sharpened it. It will become a commercial product. Commercial product that you can send from here to a place 3 miles, 4 miles away. They'll go there and drop something and come back. People are using real drones to do those things right now. But what these little boys are doing are good enough to be sharpened to do the same thing. But lo and behold, you send them to God knows where. And they go there and actually they receive education. They do. But you know what happens to you? You immediately suffer from what we call brain drain. In the meantime, you're already suffering from what is called capital flight. Capital flight. And now you're suffering from brain drain. Think about it. So your sickness is increasing from one thing to another because you were suffering from capital flight. Now you're suffering from brain drain. And this is just the pack that should represent your future. Because those whose future is now, they're already trained, they are certified, they are certificated, they are degreed, they are prepared, but they are looking for the slightest opportunity to run away from your country where you are a leader and you are not doing anything about it. You want me to whisper something to you? I will. I will whisper something to you. See, take some time and talk to those individuals who already graduated. Talk to them. Call them to a meeting. Ask them what they need. And devote time and money to help them achieve that thing. Well, that's what I want to whisper to you. I just whispered to you, but you know what you do? The money you could channel to the needs of such already trained professionals. You pocket the money. You pocket it. And what I mean by pocketing, you send that money far away from home, far away from your country, to a foreign land where it will stay in a bank. Honestly, I don't even know if the money is yielding interest for you, or you just put them in the bank and the bank is just taking monthly, service fees, and the banks are, investing the money in products that will yield something to the bank and to the country. All you know is that you have 1 million, 2 million, 5 billion, dollars in a bank account in a foreign country that you'll be going about. And the day you drop dead, to get that money back to your country will be like putting a dentist to work, if you know what I mean. The people who are already manufacturing things, creating things, so little boys are creating cars. They're riding those cars along the roads in the city across Africa. Young people building cars, building trucks, building tippers, building small light aircraft, and that, of course, that cannot carry passengers, but they'll be like remote controlled. What are you doing about them? You will look the other way. Now, those children will do everything and nobody talks to them. You see some of them come out to the streets, demonstrate what they've built, and kind-hearted members of the community will give them some tips and some little money for them to just be encouraged and all that. And is that where it should end? Someone should arrange to mass produce that very toy. Yeah, I call it a toy. It's a toy. We need toy makers. So the children in the primary schools and kindergarten, and their parents can buy toys for them. They will use those toys to learn and get motivated and get inspired. That is science. But guess what? You don't do it. We keep importing toys from foreign countries. When we are already manufacturing toys, our young people are manufacturing toys. All we need to do is to mass produce the toys. Come on, leader. You call yourself a leader, right? You are a leader. Go and find a way. Let me look for the best way to put it. If a young person in your area creates a flying object, small size, and you watch that child or see that in the video, the object flies and goes up, maneuvers and comes back and lands and all that. You find such a person, don't send him away. Because if you send him away, you are sending that person into a new kind of slavery. He will go, he'll make some good money. There's no mistake about it. The child will make some money over there, but may not return to your country, because in your country, you are a leader. In your country, you don't have electricity. That's number one. You don't. So if he comes back, what is he going to work with? No electricity. So he won't come back. But if you provide infrastructure, power, energy, renewable energy, because that's where we are right now. That child will not need to go overseas. That child who had a dream at night and began to do those things, he will know how to use the energy that is provided as infrastructure to do more. Then the country will move forward. That is developmental paradigm. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? I'm not sure. Did you hear me? Don't send those children away. Keep them and motivate them and invest them. Find investors who will contribute money and must produce that thing and sell it. Label it that boy's name, his village name, or his parents' name, and whatever. Or just put it out there. That is investment mindedness. That's what moves a country forward. When that happens, you have created a market. There'll be demand and there'll be supply. There'll be profits. There'll be good balance sheet at the end of the year. And the continent can move forward. Please, I'm appealing to you. If you're a leader, I'm appealing to you. Go and start supporting those children. I wish I could just whisper to you more and more. But why should I whisper? Why? Do I need to whisper? I need to shout at the top of my voice. Don't send those children away. Keep them in the country. Keep them in the country. Support them. Empower them and mass produce what they are creating so that there'll be a market for toys at least. And when they grow up, they will somehow, those things will become life-size products that will serve at a very high commercial level. Please, developmental paradigm is very, very critical. Go and think about it. Not only thinking about it, go and do something about it. That's my appeal today.